Hey everybody, welcome back to Tim Travels. It's Terry, your host, here with my sidekick Beatrice. We just got back from a walk. We're in Sullivan, Missouri. We picked up yesterday in Coldwater, Michigan. I drove down here and we stopped about 4 o'clock this morning, so we were kind of killing a little time. I have a load that's due in Oklahoma City tomorrow mid-morning. I think I'm gonna leave out of here about 2200, get down there early, post up, as my friend Lyle would say. I might use a different term, maybe loiter. Loiter in the area. You know, that's what like air combat support planes do. They loiter while they're waiting to be called in to like drop some bombs on somebody or give close in, give fire support, strafe somebody. I'm just looking at this truck next to me. It's and I'm not going to show you a picture of it. I have like a really dark spot here in my mustache. I didn't shave today. But I'm not going to show you a picture of it, but it has a tag on the back because I was walking B out in the back of the truck. It has a tag where their load has been embargoed by the state of Missouri. Now, I did notice when I got up, I don't know, a couple hours ago, that the trailer is pretty effed up. Like there's a big hole punched in the upper left-hand side of it. There's big scrapes on it. So I can't imagine that would have happened like at a shipper or something where the state of Missouri would have got involved in it. I kind of imagine that happened maybe in a public place, like on a road or something, or at least the police were involved. So anyway, we're here in Sullivan, Missouri. By the way, if you're from Sullivan, I bet you can confirm that everybody calls the town Sully. Because if you're like me, if you're Irish, you have known people named Sullivan over the years. And even if you aren't Irish, you probably met some people named Sullivan. It's a pretty common Irish name. And everybody named Sullivan has a nickname, and it's Sully. So I'm sure that, and I don't even care if it's a girl. Her nickname is Sully. And so I'm sure everybody just calls this place Sully. So today is the 6th of September. On this day in 1901, President William McKinley was assassinated in Buffalo, of all places. He was at like I think it was called a Pan American Exposition, and he was in like a receiving line, and a guy just came up and shot him. And McKinley, I did a video a while back where I toured President Garfield's home in Ohio, and both Garfield and McKinley were assassinated. They were the second and third presidents. A lot of people, there's 4 presidents that have been assassinated. A lot of people remember the first one and the last one, right? A lot of people my age, and well, not my age really, because I was a little kid, but a lot of people my parents' age definitely remember the last one because it was John F. Kennedy. And then the first one, of course, was Abraham Lincoln. But the 2 guys in the middle, they had both fought in the Civil War. Garfield and McKinley, they were both from Ohio, and they were from not too far apart. McKinley, there's actually this whole historic exhibition or site in Canton, Ohio, for him. But he's from the Canton, that area, kind of where like north of Youngstown, north and west of Youngstown a little bit. Garfield was from a little bit farther north, up on the lake, and the name of the town is slipping my mind. But anyway, on this day, McKinley was assassinated in 1901. Born on this day, Chris Christie, Republican candidate for president, former governor of New Jersey. And also born on this day, another former Republican candidate for president, Carly Fiorina. She was also a corporate CEO. I can't remember what company now. It's been a while. She was born on this day. Jane Addams, who was a social reformer. She in the late 1800s, early 1900s, she was born on this day. And by the way, if you ever travel I-90, like west of O'Hare all the way out to like Rockford, that's the Jane Addams Expressway. And her name is spelled with 2 D's, A-D-D-A-M-S, like the Addams family. Who else was born on this day? There was somebody else famous born on this day. I just can't remember. So anyway, those folks. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things trucking related. The first one is that I'm a little bit sad. And the reason I'm a little bit sad is that I was texting with some friends, and I said, you know, I really would like to stop in Springfield. Springfield is maybe like 180 miles from where I am right now, so 3 hours away. And it's right on my way to where I'm going, to my 90. But the reason I'm not stopping in Springfield is because I don't want them to mess up my schedule. You know, I don't want to spend, you know, like, I really just wanted to stop there, go inside, get a hot meal, sit down, and have it be affordable. And because I'm kind of on a budget right now because I'm in the hole. But I'm not stopping there because even though this trailer is like, I mean, it's like the paint is still wet on it, right? The first 3 numbers of it are 249. So if you're at Prime, you know what that means. It's a 249 trailer, but for some reason, well, there's a reason for everything, right? I'm guessing that it's a wiring problem. I'm guessing there's a short somewhere. But the high temp light for the reefer is on, but it's not the bright yellow that would super get your attention like during the day. You can only really see it when you look very closely at it or it's dark, right? And right now the sun's starting to go down, so I can see the faint yellow, but it's not even as bright as like the amber marker light on the side of the trailer that I can see. And you know, the reefer's keeping temp. It's like, it's brand new, right? But I got this light, and I sent a message to RA just to document it. But I don't want to stop in Springfield and where I'm, let's say, splitting my clock and doing like a 3-7 or something, and then have, you know, take an hour and 10 minutes to get through inbound, and then have them say, oh, this trailer's got to go to the shop. And then what will they do? They'll be like, even though I know I can deliver early at this place because I looked at the notes, they'll be like, oh, you deliver at 10:30 in Oklahoma City, and from Springfield to Oklahoma City is only like, they'll say it's like 3 hours or 4 hours. Well, it's probably a little over 3 hours, but you got to take the toll road, right? And they'll be like, so as long as we get you out of here by 7:30 in the morning, you should be fine, right? Like, they'll place all the onus for avoiding service failure on me, and I don't want that. I don't want that. So I'm going to keep my trailer and not go to Springfield. And as Lyle pointed out, there's lots of places to stop along 44, and he is correct. But it's, you know, I'm just sad that I can't do what I'd like to do. You know, a lot of this job is doing stuff you really kind of don't want to do. And it would be nice to be able to stop at the terminal, the mothership. But I cannot count on being able to get out of there on the schedule that I want, right? Some chucklehead who's never driven a truck, that's working a driver lineup, is going to be like, oh, as long as they get you done by 6:30 in the morning, you'll be fine, blah, blah. I don't want that, right? So I have a choice. I mean, I guess I could park at the Come and Go that's right down the street and walk over to the terminal. And by the way, I actually have done that one other time at the Salt Lake terminal. I parked on the street outside the terminal and walked into the terminal to, you know, get something to eat, get a shower, etc. And that's a shame that any driver feels the need to do that. And maybe I'm just ridiculous. I've been accused of that. Okay, so that's that. And let me just say this. I don't even know that it's a complaint. It's just an observation. It's just, that is it, like the saying, it is what it is, right? And that's what it is. So, okay, so a couple other things. So I read something that was a little bit alarming to me. I've talked a lot about autonomous trucks and, AI-driven vehicles, and how I really don't think that they're going to do, at least in the time I got left on the road, it's not going to make a difference, right? It's not going to impact my ability to earn. But I read something that was interesting and slightly alarming. And part of the reason is because it actually makes sense to me, and it involves one of our larger customers, one of our largest customers. I don't know that they're the biggest, but they're certainly big. And what's going on is there's a company that is not involved in the OTR world. They're more involved in the short haul, straight truck movement of cargo using autonomous trucks. And this company is working with Tyson Foods down in Northwest Arkansas. Now, as you know, Northwest Arkansas is where Tyson is headquartered. It's also where Walmart is headquartered. And they are doing deliveries from their plants there to like Walmart, where the deliveries are not, say, an entire 53-foot truckload, but just maybe like 8 or 10 pallets. I don't know how many pallets a 26-foot straight truck will hold. I have loaded them once in a while. When I was at Estes, we had a couple of straight trucks at our terminal. But I want to say, depending on if you turn the pallets, because a lot of people don't know, if you turn the pallets sideways, you can get more in. But because they're not square. Pallets are not square. They're quadrilaterals, for those of you who are geometry nuts like I am, but they're not square. But a standard pallet. But anyway, they're using those trucks to take the place of their day cab drivers in Tyson's private fleet. Now, Tyson's private fleet is the 8th largest private fleet. They have like 1,300 power units. And what they're doing, and this is helping their drivers in a way, because a lot of their drivers' complaints are that they get paid by the mile, but they're only getting like 400 miles a day because they're just shuttling stuff. And they call these shuttle trips, And so what's happening is they're taking those drivers that were doing shuttle trips, like from one of their, like they have facilities where their facilities are, the kill facilities, the slaughterhouses, right? I know that term's kind of impolitic, but it's a slaughterhouse, right? But then, like, if you buy Tyson chicken nuggets or chicken patties, those have actually been to 2 Tyson plants. The first plant where the chicken got killed and processed, and then that meat is shipped to what they call finishing facilities, like the one in Ottawa, Illinois, where I picked up recently. So, and Tyson has lots of finishing facilities around the country. But what they typically do is, if there's a slaughterhouse facility or an initial process, we'll call it meat in processing facility instead of military in processing. We'll call it meat in processing. So anyway, one of those facilities, they'll ship a truckload or several pallets to the finishing facility. But the finishing facility might only be like 100 miles from the in-processing facility. So what happens is that they pay their driver by the mile. So he has to go pick up this trailer that's got just basically fresh meat in it. Then he's got to take it to the facility. Maybe he puts it in the door. Maybe he just drops it for a jockey. Then he has to get one of Tyson's empty trailers. and bring it back and then do it all over again to maybe a different facility that's 100 miles the other direction. And by the time he gets done with all that rigmarole and pre-tripping the trailers, his time is up, and for the day, for his drive, his 14-hour clock or his drive clock or whatever is depleted, but he's only run like 400 miles. And so he's like, hey, I'm only making, 50, let's say he's making 50 cents a mile. So he's like, okay, so gross, I only made $200 today. But if I was in the OTR operation, I could have run 550 miles. And, there are trade-offs, right? He's probably home or whatever, but he makes less money. So what they want to do is get their drivers who want to be out on the road, and do the shuttling with these autonomous straight trucks. And these autonomous straight trucks have been carrying quite a lot of cargo for them. Now, the other thing that they want to do is they've said in the article I read, they want to go from 40% of their products being shipped on their trucks to 50% of their products. So that's you got to keep in mind, this is math and there are rules, right? If you ship 10% more, it's not 10% more. Well, it is 10% more. But in reality, it's a 25% increase in the amount that they ship. They want to shift 25% to their own vehicles and away from contract carriers like Prime, like Hirschbach. And Hirschbach, by the way, I was talking about them the other day. I noticed that Hirschbach has a lot of accounts that we don't seem to have. At least I've never run these kinds of loads, where Hirschbach moves it from the in-processing to the finishing facility. And the reason I know that a little bit is because I read a lot of signs. And at the Ottawa facility that I mentioned, there's a sign for Hirschbach drivers that they can use the door clips to keep the doors from blowing open when if cargo is shifted. They have the door clips right in the security gate house for the drivers to open if they're moving bulk meat to the finishing plant. So, but it is definitely a concern that they want to increase by 25% the amount of stuff that they move on their own trucks over what they're doing today. And it is kind of amazing how much work we have with Tyson, considering they move 40% on their own trucks. And I guess, they will consider that these autonomous trucks will be their own. They're in a partnership right now. So it's just something to watch, right? I don't like surprises. And I don't like surprises, that are going to impact my income. I mean, I certainly have had them over the years. I think we all do. You find out your company's going bankrupt the day you get the pink slip. But yeah, it's just something to pay attention to. And the interesting thing is that I don't see a lot of kinks in the armor other than the safety issue. But, it really does make sense. I mean, I feel like there's so much stuff in this country that moves in 53-foot, trailers that doesn't need to. And I know people that make a living doing straight truck. So there's obviously a market for it. And when you talk about short haul, 100 miles, 150 miles, in a straight truck, it's cutting down, it's a smaller footprint on the road, it's less fuel. And if it's autonomous, that saves a lot in labor, and there's no employees to really have to keep happy. So I'll keep an eye on that because it's of interest to me, and I just wanted to share that with you. So anyway, be safe. I'll be in Oklahoma City in the morning. OKC. I haven't been to Oklahoma. I've been through the Panhandle like a little bit. I go through Panhandle frequently when I'm running back and forth to the West Coast, but I haven't had a delivery or pickup in Oklahoma in, man, I can't remember. In fact, somebody was asking me about, they live in Oklahoma, and they were asking, is that a good place to live for Prime? And I'm like, I've never had anything out of it. I've been offered one load out of Broken Arrow, or Broken Arrow, I think it is, and that I declined. So we'll just see what happens. But like I said, Oklahoma, Texas, not in my wheelhouse usually. And I'm definitely not, if they say, oh, hey, go down to Texas and get this load, I'll be like, that's a hard no. I mean, I might, if I, just to get out of Oklahoma City, if I got to go over to Amarillo and get a load, I might do that, depending on where it's going. But I'm not going to go down to Texas. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.